the airliner that makes supersonic travel a reality. Sleek and graceful, flying twice the speed of sound, a symbol of prestige with a perfect safety record. But 113 people will perish in just 120 seconds. Now, using cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. The Alps, Europe's majestic wonderland. Yet deep inside lies one of the world's longest road tunnels. Daily it carries thousands of motorists in safety. Until an ordinary lorry explodes into flames. The tunnel turns into a terrifying death trap in just 14 minutes. Now, with cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel those fateful decisions in the final seconds from disaster. An ordinary government building, 9 floors of glass and steel reinforced concrete, built to code, built to last. Then one morning, a crude bomb causes destruction on an unimaginable scale. In 7 seconds, the building disintegrates. 168 people will die as a result of the explosion. Now, with cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful moments in those final seconds from disaster. The Scandinavian Star is an ocean-going ferry. For 19 years, she carries thousands of passengers and vehicles across the seas. Until a routine crossing turns deadly for 482 people in just 45 minutes. Now, using cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. The German Intercity Express is one of the fastest trains in the world, renowned for its comfort, luxury and safety. Until it careers off the track and crashes at 200 kilometers per hour. 101 people perish in 180 seconds. It's the worst high-speed train crash ever. Now, with advanced computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. The Sunset Limited, pride of Amtrak's fleet, is America's first coast-to-coast train. This double-decker superliner combines the luxury of the past with high-tech innovation, but it's barreling into the night toward a boat lost on a foggy river. In just 8 minutes, the fate of 47 passengers and crew will be sealed in one of the worst train disasters in American history. Now, with cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. Nuclear power promised the Soviet Union a supply of cheap and limitless energy. Chernobyl was the newest of its plants, a triumph of Soviet science. But that changed. In just 1 hour and 24 minutes, a routine safety test spirals out of control. 31 people die, hundreds are poisoned, and a toxic cloud spreads as far as Asia and the United States. Now we return to Chernobyl with the men who were involved, and with cutting-edge computer technology reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're caused by a sequence of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in the final seconds from disaster. This is Guadalajara, Mexico, but it could be anywhere. Like all big cities, what lies beneath its streets is a labyrinth of pipes, cables and tunnels. Out of sight and out of mind. Until the unthinkable happens. 206 citizens lose their lives. Now, using cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. The dream of alpine skiers. A mountain for every season, including summer. And a high-tech mountain railway speeding skiers to the summit. But on the opening day of the season, the new train erupts into a fiery inferno. 155 people perish in 9 minutes. One man will emerge a hero of a perilous mountain rescue. Now, with cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. Piper Alpha, one of the most productive oil platforms in the North Sea. It's a city anchored in the ocean, supporting more than 200 workers and pumping oil 24 hours a day. Then a routine working day ends in disaster. 167 men perish in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now, using cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen. They're caused by a sequence of critical events, locked in time. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. Nestled in the beautiful southern Alps of Italy lies the Stava Valley, the epitome of the unspoiled alpine resort. Then, a terrifying tidal wave of mud surges down the valley at 90 kilometers per hour, destroying everything in its path. 268 people perish in just 209 seconds. Now, using advanced computer graphics, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. A beautiful island off the African coast would be a dream destination for holidaymakers. But a bomb at the airport diverts two jumbos to a tiny airstrip. In just 8 minutes, the worst aviation accident of all time takes the lives of 583 people. Now, with cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. The Pentagon has served for more than 60 years as a symbol of power in defense of freedom. A five-sided fortress to safeguard the American dream. Then on September 11, 2001, terrorists tested its strength. They turned a commercial jet into a weapon of destruction. The United States suffered a tragic loss of life that day. But America's fortress proved to be a shield, protecting the lives of thousands of people who work there. Now, with cutting-edge computer graphics, we reveal exactly what happened. Disasters don't just occur, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. Seven astronauts aboard Space Shuttle Columbia complete a routine mission and head back to Earth. Mission Control expects a trouble-free re-entry. But just 16 minutes from landing, disaster strikes. The crew loses control. The shuttle disintegrates in the skies over Texas. Everyone on board perishes. The event shocks the world. It's the second shuttle disaster in 17 years. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what caused Columbia's destruction. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. A picturesque Austrian resort in the height of the ski season. 4,000 tourists enjoy the beautiful alpine scenery. Suddenly, a massive avalanche shatters the peace. Within 3 minutes, a 100-meter wall of snow devastates the village of Galtür. It smashes buildings and buries dozens of people. 31 die, all in a village that avalanche experts officially designated as safe. Now, using our advanced computer simulation, we reveal exactly what went wrong in Galtür. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful moments in those final seconds from disaster. Boeing 737 flying 126 people on a short hop from London to Northern Ireland. It's one of the safest planes in the sky. Suddenly, a series of explosive noises and severe vibrations rock the plane. It crashes just meters from the safety of a runway. 47 people die. Are they victims of a terrorist act, or was this a freak accident? Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal what really went wrong on Flight 092. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. The slumbering volcanic peak of Mount St. Helens. In its shadow, one of America's most beautiful national forests. A magnet for vacationers seeking the great outdoors. But then, without warning, the volcano erupts. In just 4 minutes, the blast flattens 570 square kilometers. Huge mudflows surge down 240 kilometers of river valleys. 57 people die. With all eyes on the mountain, why did no one predict such a catastrophic eruption? Now, using advanced computer simulation, we reveal why the Mount St. Helens blast took everyone by surprise. Behind natural disasters are a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. The English Channel. the world's busiest shipping lane. Every day, tens of thousands cross it by ferry. It's a safe, routine trip. Until one ship capsizes just over a kilometer outside port. Within 90 seconds, hundreds of people are fighting for their lives in the icy water. 193 die in Britain's worst maritime accident since the Titanic. Now, with advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what went wrong on the herald of free enterprise. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the decisions that triggered those final seconds from disaster. Kobe, Japan's 6th largest city and one of its most important commercial centers. Then, one quiet winter's morning, just before dawn, disaster strikes. Suddenly, without warning, a colossal earthquake rips through the city. It topples roadways and knocks over tower blocks. In 20 seconds, Kobe is left in ruins. Over 5,500 people die. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly why so many died in what was meant to be the most earthquake-proof country on Earth. Behind every disaster lies a chain of critical events that decide who lives and who dies. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. A DC-10 en route to Chicago. It's packed with children and vacationers. 1 hour into the flight, an engine fails. Although it still has 2 good engines, the plane becomes almost unflyable. 285 passengers face an horrific crash landing at Sioux City. Why did a simple engine failure lead to a crash? Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what downed Flight 232. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. October 2002. Hundreds of young tourists enjoy a tropical island resort. Then, massive explosions rip through the packed nightclubs. The bombings claim 202 lives. It's the worst act of terror since 9/11. Now, using advanced computer simulation, we reveal exactly what happened in the Bali bombings. Behind every disaster lies a chain of critical events that decides who lives and who dies. Unravel the fateful moments in those final seconds from disaster. Singapore. Famed throughout Asia for its order and calm efficiency. Then, suddenly, one Saturday morning, disaster stops the entire country in its tracks. A 6-story hotel crashes to the ground in under 60 seconds. 33 people die, and 17 more are buried alive, trapped beneath thousands of tons of steel, glass, and concrete. It's the worst collapse in the country's history, and it leaves investigators baffled. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what caused the tragedy. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. TWA jumbo jet on a routine flight from New York to Paris, France. Suddenly, it explodes and plunges burning into the Atlantic. There are over 200 people on board. Is it a missile attack, a terrorist bomb, or a catastrophic mechanical failure? Now, using advanced computer simulation, we reveal what really went wrong on flight TWA 800. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. A central Paris railway station at the height of the rush hour. Thousands of passengers head for home. Suddenly, a runaway train hurtles towards the station. "307 tons of crashing metal slam into a packed commuter train. 56 people die. It's Paris's worst ever train crash. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what led to tragedy at the Gare de Lyon. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. (1937). The Hindenburg, the world's largest flying machine, arrives in the United States with 97 people on board. It's the end of a successful transatlantic flight. Moments from landing, a fierce fire erupts. In just 34 seconds, the mighty airship is destroyed. 36 people perish. Many suffer agonizing burns. But what caused the devastating fire? Now, a 21st century air crash detective re-examines one of the most famous air disasters in history. Using advanced computer simulations, we reveal what really destroyed the Hindenburg. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Day in San Juan, Puerto Rico, 1996. Christmas is coming and the city is packed with shoppers. Then, a massive blast rips through the streets, overturning vehicles and causing widespread devastation. The reason is a mystery, but the effects are terrifyingly obvious. 33 people are dead and more than 80 are injured. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what went wrong and why no one managed to prevent this catastrophic explosion. Behind every disaster lies a chain of critical events that decides who lives and who dies. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. The luxury Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City. It's just 1 year old and is famed for its ambitious architectural design. One sultry July evening, almost 1,500 people crowd inside the hotel's hallmark atrium for a tea dance. Suddenly, part of the building collapses, killing 114 people. It's the worst structural failure in US history. Now, using advanced computer simulation, we reveal what caused the Kansas City Hyatt collapse. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. A 747 cargo flight takes off from Amsterdam. It climbs over the densely populated city. Suddenly, a powerful jolt rocks the aircraft. 8 minutes later, the jumbo plows into a crowded apartment block. How did a routine flight turn into Holland's worst air crash? Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal what really downed El Al Flight 1862. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. A vast nuclear submarine powers through the icy waters of the Arctic. This is Kursk, the billion-dollar pride of the Russian fleet. Suddenly, an explosion tears through the front of the sub. Seconds later, another massive blast rips through the boat. Catastrophic flooding sends her to the sea floor. But how could this have happened? Kursk is supposed to be unsinkable. Now we reveal what really took a state-of-the-art nuclear submarine to the bottom of the Barents Sea. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. It's the Christmas shopping season in London, and the rush hour is in full swing. Commuters and shoppers stream through King's Cross, the city's busiest rail interchange. Suddenly, a deadly wall of flame roars through the packed station. It kills 31 people. The world's oldest subway system suffers the deadliest fire in its history. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what caused the tragedy. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. It's a busy Friday morning in the bustling African city of Nairobi. Then, the air is shattered by a massive explosion. A huge bomb has gone off outside the American embassy, totally demolishing a 7-story building and causing damage on a stunning scale. Hundreds of people are buried and thousands injured in the worst terrorist atrocity ever to hit the African continent. Now, using advanced computer simulations, we reveal exactly what happened and who was behind this appalling attack. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down to those final seconds from disaster. A warm spring day in Florida. And a passenger jet takes off bound for Atlanta, Georgia. 110 people are on board. Then, just minutes into the flight, the aircraft begins to swerve violently about the sky. Finally, it plummets into the Florida Everglades. The wreckage all but disappears into the alligator-infested swamp. The cause is a total mystery. Now, using advanced computer simulation, we reveal the facts behind one of America's most baffling air crashes and show exactly what went wrong on Flight 592. Disasters don't just happen, they're the result of a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster.
Largest passenger liner, Titanic, steams through the mid-Atlantic to America. Over 2,200 people are aboard.
Iceberg, run ahead!
Then, disaster strikes.
Faster!
She fills rapidly with water and sinks into the icy ocean. Over 1,500 people are left to drown. But why did so many die? Was it human error or design flaw. Now, using state-of-the-art forensic analysis and a groundbreaking experiment, we reveal a hidden weakness in the most famous ship in history. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. The Vietnam War and a massive American aircraft carrier prepares to launch a bombing raid. Warplanes and men are crowded on deck. Then, a fire rips through a jet fighter. Seconds later, the stern of the ship is rocked by a series of huge blasts.
Everyone was terrified. The sights were horrible.
As fires rage, the crew begin a desperate fight to save the vessel. 17 hours later, 134 men are dead. But what caused this horrific loss of life? Now, a top Navy investigator reopens the report into one of the most famous disasters in US military history. Using computer simulations, we reveal what really happened aboard the USS Forrestal. Disasters don't just happen. They are a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down to those final seconds from disaster. Two months after 9/11, a plane takes off on a routine flight from New York. But within seconds, the aircraft is in trouble.
What the hell are we into?
On the ground below, New Yorkers witness the terrifying sight.
This big shadow came over the house.
As the pilot struggles at the controls, the aircraft is torn apart. Within seconds, the plane plummets to Earth, smashing into a once peaceful suburb. 265 people are dead.
Bodies everywhere.
Terrorism, design failure, human error. The tragedy that befell 587 will spark one of the most baffling and far-reaching investigations ever carried out. The truth will rock the aviation industry to its core.
This has never, ever happened before.
Now, using advanced computer simulation, we reveal exactly what happened in the Queen's air crash. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful moments in those final seconds from disaster. September 11th, 2001, the day America wept. Two months later, it seemed to be happening all over again.
The engine fall down and the plane fall. The piston left side and make it straight all the way down.
As athletes sleep at the Olympic Games, masked gunmen launch an attack. The terrorists killed 2 people and take 9 hostage. After hours of negotiations, a desperate rescue operation is launched.
Now they are going to kill these people.
But it ends in catastrophe.
Suddenly, whoom, and all bets are off.
17 people are dead.
All of the Israelis taken
And the world faces a terrifying new reality. No one is safe from terrorism. Now, one man uses classified government secrets hidden for 30 years
This doomed the operation.
to finally reveal the explosive truth behind the Munich Olympics massacre. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down to those final seconds from disaster. The hostages on board this helicopter think they're being flown to freedom. In truth, they're being flown to certain death. bustling department store in one of the largest cities in the world. 1,500 people are crowded inside the building. Suddenly, an explosion erupts from the top floor. In less than 20 seconds, the entire store crashes to the ground. In its place lies a massive pile of twisted steel and concrete. Over 500 people are dead. The tragedy stuns a nation, and the public demand answers. Now, one man must find out what caused this catastrophe. What he discovers will shake an entire country to its very foundations. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. "1,500 people are crushed under 42,000 tons of rubble. On the surface, there is chaos. 10 meters down, a young girl is buried alive. For her, the horror has only just begun. A snowstorm sweeps across Washington, D.C. as a routine flight to Florida takes off. Suddenly, the aircraft starts shaking. 24 seconds later, it smashes into a busy motorway bridge and plunges into the icy river below. 78 people are dead, and a desperate rescue effort gets underway. How did a routine flight turn into one of the most horrific disasters in aviation history? Now a team of experts must discover exactly what downed Air Florida Flight 90. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. This man has survived a plane crash. Now, as the aircraft sinks, he must cheat death again. It's Sunday morning on a paradise island in Asia, home to 40 million people. Just offshore lies one of the largest geological faults on the planet. Scientists have been studying it for decades, hoping to understand its seismic behavior. Then, the biggest quake for 40 years rocks the region. Next, a horror no one had foreseen claims over 250,000 lives.
It was a surprise that it was so devastating. It caught us off guard.
It went from a perfect day in paradise to this horrific day in a matter of seconds.
Oh my God, look at the waves coming! Clear out, people! Clear out!
The experts are bewildered by a series of bizarre phenomena. Freak waves destroy entire communities.
The mega tsunami of 2004 is the greatest mystery we have yet to unravel.
Using cutting-edge scientific analysis, they shed new light on what really happened and reveal that tsunamis are more of a threat than the world ever realized. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. 1954, and one of the world's first jet airliners takes off from Italy. The plane is the ultimate in high-speed luxury travel. But just 26 minutes into the flight, it explodes catastrophically. 35 people are dead. The tragedy stuns a nation. A team of investigators must solve the mystery of why this state-of-the-art aircraft disintegrated on a routine flight. What they discover in the wreckage will cause a turning point in the history of aviation and change passenger travel forever. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down to those final seconds from disaster. A plane takes off from Chicago Airport on a clear spring day. As the wheels leave the runway, it loses power from one of its engines. Suddenly, it rolls to the left. Seconds later, the aircraft hits the ground and disintegrates, smashing into a trailer park. 273 people are dead. Now, a team of investigators must find out exactly what went wrong in America's most catastrophic air accident. What they discover will uncover fatal shortcomings in the American aviation business and change the industry forever. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. This man has just witnessed a plane crash. On board is the woman he loves. It starts as a normal day at one of America's biggest oil refineries. 1,800 people are busy at work. Without warning, a massive explosion rocks the plant. The blast is felt 8 kilometers away. Dozens of people are injured. 15 are dead. A desperate rescue operation gets underway. America's worst industrial disaster for 15 years shatters a close-knit community. Now, a team of investigators must work out exactly what went wrong. Human error, design flaw, or terrorist attack. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. This man has broken his back in 6 places. Now he has minutes to escape before he burns to death. (1974). America is hit by the most destructive tornado outbreak in recorded history. 148 tornadoes rip through 13 states, leaving millions of dollars of damage. But weather forecasters are unable to predict where or when the twisters will strike. As a result, 5,500 people are injured, 330 are dead. The nation reels in shock.
I've never seen anything like it, and I don't want to again.
A team of meteorologists investigate the aftermath in a bid to provide forecasters with new tools to save lives in the future. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. This girl has narrowly escaped being killed by a tornado. Now, trapped in a sinking camper van, she must cheat death again. Four, three, Space Shuttle Challenger launches on a January morning in 1986, a key engineer is sure a catastrophe is coming.
We've got to stop the flight. We cannot let Challenger launch, period. This is insane.
He thinks the ship is going to explode.
And liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
73 seconds later, disaster strikes. 7 astronauts die in front of their families and millions of television viewers.
Our hearts were shattering, much like those pieces that were falling from the sky.
What really happened during that fateful flight? Was tragedy inevitable, or could the shuttle and its crew have made it into space?
Could they have made it? That question haunts me.
Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Roger Beaujolais knows the space shuttle hides a deadly flaw.
I was so angry.
Look at it! Damn it, look at it!
I was literally screaming at them.
But there's nothing he can do to stop the countdown.
After I got home, first words my wife said to me were, "What's wrong, honey?" I said, "Oh, nothing, honey. It was a great day. They're going to launch tomorrow and kill the astronauts, but outside of that, it was a great day."
A Caribbean island paradise, and a volcano wakes after lying dormant for centuries. With the lives of 10,500 people at stake, volcanologists rush to the scene. Then a catastrophic eruption sends an avalanche of red-hot rock and ash cascading down the mountain. In the panic, no one knows how many islanders are dead, or why the volcano took so many by surprise. But one man predicted this event. Why wasn't he listened to? Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. These people are in the wrong place at the wrong time. A raging inferno of volcanic rock is thundering towards them. They have just seconds to escape certain death.
(9/11, 2001). 4 planes change America and the world forever. 19 men, armed with box cutter knives, strike a stunning blow against the mightiest superpower on the planet. Now investigators must discover how the multi-billion-dollar security apparatus of the US military, intelligence, and aviation authorities could be totally blindsided by a simple plot that exploits fatal gaps in their defenses. Disasters don't just happen. They are triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. December 7th, 1941. An aerial strike force gathers and executes a surprise attack on the US Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor. Its aim, to bring a nation to its knees. Thousands die in one of the most devastating defeats in military history. Now, by examining events leading up to the attack and analyzing previously classified military records, a Japanese intelligence expert discovers why the raid was such a total disaster for the Empire of Japan. Disasters don't just happen. They are triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. London. Rush hour. A train leaves Paddington Station. Another train approaches.
The train was incredibly busy.
I've never heard anything like it, just a huge bang. You couldn't work out which train was which.
When two commuter trains collide, investigators must discover what went wrong in the UK's worst rail disaster in a decade. Was it a terrible accident? Sabotage? Or even suicide? Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster.
Please leave. This is private property.
A man searching for vengeance.
No, ma, you do it!
A cold-blooded murder in broad daylight. Triggered by an event that took place at 36,000 feet. When the trip of a lifetime turns into the worst civilian plane crash in German history. Investigators must find out how two highly advanced aircraft could be in exactly the same spot at exactly the same time. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. (1998). A US military jet severs the wire of a cable car in the Italian Alps. The crew may face court-martial for the deaths of 20 people. Investigators must discover how a routine training flight ended in catastrophe. Was it an accident triggered by instrument failure, or the result of a reckless joyride? There is intense suspicion that the US military will protect its own at all costs. For the first time, the navigator tells his story.
It wasn't Marine Corps jet, it's uncharted wire. It was Top Gun slaughter in the snow.
Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Bhopal, Central India, 1984. City residents wake, choking and unable to breathe. Stampeding in panic, thousands die. Poisoned by the very air around them. An American-owned factory, supposedly rigged with safety systems, triggers the world's deadliest industrial accident. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Japan, 1945. One bomb demonstrates the awesome power of nuclear fission. That same power is now being harnessed for peaceful purposes but always remains potentially dangerous. 1979. An accident at 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania sends thousands fleeing. 1986. An explosion and full meltdown at Chernobyl in Ukraine causes panic across Europe. Nuclear plants worldwide were supposed to be getting safer. But in 2011, the Fukushima nuclear facility is first rocked by an earthquake. Then, a massive tsunami. Japan is about to enter another radiation nightmare, while the world is reminded of its double-edged pact with the atom. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. May 1941. A storm rages in the Atlantic Ocean. A squadron of antiquated biplanes take on the most powerful warship the world has ever seen. Bismarck.
It seemed almost incredible to me to watch these ancient-looking planes flying against this fire-spitting mountain.
At stake, the future of Europe.
If Bismarck succeeds in her mission, the convoy system will collapse and Britain will surrender. It really is the pivot point of the Second World War.
Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. The chance of seeing an Alpine landslide in its moment of creation is too good to miss. But for thousands who live in the shadow of Europe's tallest dam, unaware of the unfolding spectacle, it's already too late.
I immediately thought the dam had fallen.
Death is very close at hand. You think you're going to die.
Investigators uncover an astonishing plan to control an unstable mountainside and unlock the shocking truth.
Derailment is completely a man-made disaster. The whole thing was just primed to go.
Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. April 1995. The Oklahoma City bombing. The single biggest domestic terrorist attack in US history. The perpetrator, Timothy McVeigh, cites his motive as revenge for the actions of US authorities at Waco, Texas, where 76 men, women and children die in a blazing fire. Were cult members led to their deaths by charismatic leader David Koresh? Or killed by out-of-control federal agents? To this day, events at Waco weigh heavily on America's consciousness. Now a former FBI agent will unravel what really went on at Waco. Disasters don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. An explosion rips through an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. The survivors can't stop the blowout and flee.
This is not a drill.
I told myself, either get up or you're going to lay here and die.
2 hours earlier, a test showed the oil well was safe. Now investigators must discover how a $560 million rig could explode, resulting in the world's largest accidental marine oil spill.
Why did this happen? You had this modern rig, capable companies, very experienced people. This just shouldn't have ever happened. What could possibly have gone wrong?
Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Mumbai, India. November 2008. The world watches on as a fire rages at the city's most famous landmark, the luxury Taj Mahal Hotel. It's rumored that up to 60 terrorists are behind a series of commando-style attacks. 59 hours after the attacks began, 166 innocent people are dead. The whole world wants to know who did this and why, and how such an attack could be perpetrated right under the noses of security forces. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Norway, July 2011. A bomb rips through Oslo city centre, killing 8 people. On an island 40 kilometers away, over 500 teenagers are running for their lives.
Everyone get out!
A lone gunman is methodically hunting them down. In a 3-hour terror spree, 77 people will die. Over 200 will be injured. Just how did one man wreak so much havoc and destruction? And why wasn't he stopped sooner? Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster.
I've never lied to you. We didn't commit suicide. We committed an act of revolutionary suicide.
Unconfirmed reports reaching Georgetown say there have been mass suicides at the Jonestown settlement.
909 men, women, and children lie dead. Almost all by self-administered poison. It appears an incomprehensible act. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. Swissair 111 is en route from New York to Geneva. The passengers are settling back to enjoy the flight.
Business class and economy class, they would have absolutely no idea that anything was amiss.
As cabin power is cut, some passengers are mildly concerned.
There's no need to worry. We'll be landing very shortly.
But in the cockpit, it's a different story.
I could hear a master warning tone, and I had no idea of what that meant.
The pilot's attempts to control the jumbo are failing. Few on board realize they only have minutes to live. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. unlock the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Somalia, East Africa. US Special Forces on a lightning raid into the heart of Mogadishu.
We're gonna own this place in a week. And we're Delta, we're Rangers, we're SEALs. Like, we take this place down.
2 Black Hawk helicopters are brought down by a hostile militia.
And at that point, we all knew that the mission had changed.
99 US soldiers are trapped in the city overnight as armed Somalis close in on their positions. Now, investigators have to understand why a routine mission went so badly wrong as the US military suffer their worst casualties since the Vietnam War. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster.
Hey, darling. I hope you're tucked up in a nice warm bed.
High on Everest, in the death zone. With little hope of rescue, a climber contacts his wife.
We're looking forward to looking after you when you get home. Because they will find you.
Try not to worry too much.
Seven lives have already been lost in Mount Everest's deadliest storm. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. It's the worst single aircraft disaster in aviation history. A Boeing crashes into a mountain northwest of Tokyo. 520 passengers and crew perish in a pile of twisted metal. With over 600 747s in service, investigators are under intense pressure to uncover the cause of the crash. If they can't come up with answers quickly, it could happen again. Pull up. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Russia, Osaka, Japan. A Monday morning, a commuter train is carrying hundreds of people to work. Anxious over connections, many of the passengers are unaware this will be their last journey, until it's too late. Disasters don't just happen, they're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. The skies over Japan, August the 9th, 1945. America is about to drop its second atomic bomb in 3 days. Within seconds, 30% of Nagasaki is flattened, and more than 40,000 people vaporized. 5 days later, Japan surrenders. This new superweapon is used twice to shorten the war and save American lives. That's the accepted story. But some are now challenging that history.
The bomb was used, and therefore, no matter how horrible it was justified. This is a myth.
Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. Argentinian fighter bombers on a deadly low-level mission.
The truth is that the altitude at the final stage was as low as your guts would let you.
A British warship tasked with being the bait. They're on a collision course that could cost hundreds of lives and change the course of a war. Disasters don't just happen. They're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster. June the 2nd, 1994.
There is 29 souls on board.
A Chinook helicopter has crashed. Everyone on board is dead. They include Northern Ireland's top anti-terrorism experts and one of the Royal Air Force's most experienced crews.
Flight Lieutenant Jonathan Tapper was a superbly qualified and dedicated member of that force.
When the report is published, tragedy turns to shock and outrage.
I can't see how you can accuse people of being negligent without having any proof for it.
A firestorm of controversy ignites over what really happened on that barren hillside. Disasters don't just happen, they're triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster.
An unmistakable thrum of whirling metal rips through the sky. Military choppers can be the deciding factor in deadly combat and covert operations, but they are far from foolproof. In Mogadishu, 2 U.S. Blackhawks are shot down, leaving elite troops stranded.
If they could take down a helicopter, they could collapse the city around us.
And on a Scottish hillside, a Chinook carrying anti-terrorism experts on a top-secret transport
I've got a control jam!
crashes mysteriously.
It was a moment of very, very high drama, which they had not been expecting.
But how did such experienced helicopter pilots find themselves in such desperate situations? Disasters don't just happen. They are triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. They are 2 of the worst plane crashes in the history of flight.
More power! More power! What's going on?
A Boeing 747 in Japan explodes on a mountainside. And a transatlantic flight goes down in flames off the Canadian coast.
Oh my God, I think we've lost it.
Almost 750 people are killed in the 2 crashes combined. But could these horrific crashes have been stopped? The answer can be found in the details. Disasters don't just happen. They are triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the clues and count down those final seconds from disaster.
Nature's time bombs. Unpredictable. Unleashing awesome power that can wipe out landscapes and lives in an instant. These are some of the world's most violent disasters. And the only way to stay safe is to stay out of the way.